everyone. I just wanted to come on and record a short video for you that I hope will be helpful because a couple of months ago I mentioned in a video update that I truly felt that these few months that we're in right now were our rehearsal for something way bigger next year. And I truly think they are. And although in the past I've said we've had no rehearsal, that's absolutely true for what we're going through. But we are in it now. We are absolutely in it now. And see these next few months as precisely that. And I'll explain a little more detail. So Neptune moved into Aries from Pisces on the 30th of March. And it will stay there until the 22nd of October when it retrogrades back into Pisces. Saturn moved into Aries from Pisces on the 24th of May, and it will stay there until the 1st of September. And then early next year, late January for Neptune and February for Saturn, they will again move direct into Aries, and they will become exactly conjunct at 0:44 degrees of Aries on the 20th of February. And they will then be in that cycle and not retrograde to Pisces again in that current cycle. Uranus will move from Taurus into Gemini, initially on the 7th of July. Again, it will retrograde back into Taurus in the later months of this year and then move fully into Gemini on the 26th of April next year. And so we've got this kind of test run, if you like, for the next 2 to 3 months. We've got this test run of Saturn, Neptune, Uranus moving into their new signs and then pulling back, retrograding through the late months of this year and early month or two of next year to integrate, reflect, consolidate, prune. What do you really want to focus on and expand going forwards? What do you really want to let fall away? So this is our rehearsal period for what I believe is the full launch in springtime Northern Hemisphere next year. Because as I say, Saturn, Neptune move fully into Aries in February. Uranus moves fully into Gemini in April. Pluto already moved into Aquarius November 24. So all of the outer planets will by then be in their new signs. So that's lift-off time. So really suggest that you look at your life with an eagle's perch view, more than ever, because it's constantly something I refer to, but particularly in these times of massive transition. Really watch every thought, every feeling as you go through your day in a much more conscious way, to observe new directions, new contacts with people, messages in your dreams, just your day-to-day interactions. What is calling to you that may be new? Who is the new you are already becoming? Is there a new interest that's calling you, a new passion that's calling you? Are other parts of your life, your work life, your relationship, your friendship life feeling a little wearisome and pulling down on your frequency? Just observe dispassionately from a kind of place of divine neutrality, your eagle's perch. Observe more consciously and more wisely than you otherwise would, because this is the rehearsal time for that. Think sovereignty. Think self-empowerment. Think be your own spiritual hero. Think be a new you. Think your own spiritual leadership as well as heroism. Think of a new spiritual direction or an additional spiritual direction. Think about connecting to like-minded people in whatever way that happens, whether it's online or in person. Can you join a permaculture group? Can you join a meditation group? It really doesn't matter. as long as you feel that's lifting your frequency, and be super aware of that. You know, people send me stuff all day long, but if I feel it's lowering my frequency, I will instantly stop, because that's my checkpoint. That's when I know this is not helping. And you know, I think I mentioned a few weeks ago, about a month ago, I had a very personal shock, and a whole series of things came out of that could have sent me on an absolutely long-term spin. But within a couple of days, I realized that I had to walk my talk. I had to get a grip of my state of being as my absolutely top priority. And I have now, well, within a couple of days, I was starting to turn that situation around, and I have now fully done that. And the other possibility has just faded away on a way distant timeline. We create our reality by our frequency and our state of being. I've said it so many times, but it really is true. And when it impacts you personally, you really get to walk your talk. That's a real test. And that was a real test for me. So know that we are the bridge people. If you're alive and listening to this right now, we are the bridge people between the old world and the new earth. Remember that the earth is going through her own upgrade. So in every thought and feeling, we are laying the foundations on a blank canvas, because we are into totally different times now, for the new human, who is going to be biologically different from what we've been in the past, much less dense, much more crystalline. Many people are talking about this, and the new earth. It's so exciting. And so, as I say, be wiser and more conscious, and with a greater sense of spiritual responsibility in your choices, in your feelings day to day, than you have ever been before, because these times are so much bigger. And I've talked about these, you know, in great length, about all the outer planets changing sign, the area in space that the Earth is moving through, the ancient prophecies, the increased solar activity, the increased seismic activity. I mean, we really are in a time of convergences and game changers that are extraordinary. So recognize, you know, step into that sense of spiritual responsibility, and really feel that empowerment. Really feel I am living my truth. I'm a major contributor. I'm not in victim. I'm not a passive observer. I am absolutely helping to create this new earth. And it's interesting listening to Nancy Rebecca, very much highlighted round about the Aries equinox and that surge of energy in late March, early April, which I know many people, including myself, felt. And Kelly Kolodny has also been talking about this, that the equinoxes and solstices this year, starting from the Aries equinox, are extraordinary as a series of milestones in how we are changing biologically. And as well as Nancy's work, I really recommend Kelly's as well in highlighting this. And I can see it so clearly astrologically. So in the Cancer solstice update, I'm filming this at the Cancer solstice. This is a change point, not just a regular Cancer solstice as we have every year, but a change point. The energy will shift as we go through this, and the way in which the energy will shift is determined by you and your frequency. So, as I say, there's been no rehearsal in the past, but we are in it now, in these few months. Summertime, Northern Hemisphere, wintertime, Southern Hemisphere. We are building the foundations. We're putting the first layers of paint on this completely blank canvas, because we have never gone through this kind of transition in any of our lifetimes. And so many people have said that. So try and see that bigger picture. Now, of course, it is undeniable that we have two broad collective timelines operating right now. I think that's absolutely undeniable. And I don't like to talk about polarity or separation, because we all need to get to unity consciousness. But for a period of time, this is going to act as a catalyst for what we're moving to. So one, of course, is determined by fear. And this is a timeline where people are following the news, they're following the narrative, they're very plugged in emotionally to the terrible tragedies happening in the world, and they feel there's no hope. It's despair, it's doom and gloom, and that is the only reality we have. We're done in. There's no hope for humanity. And that's not true. That's only true if you give it your energy and focus. And remember, as the wonderful author Paul Levy said, our focus is our superpower in what we are creating. So the other timeline, of course, is based on love, as I've spoken about many times. Remember, the fear timeline can actually collapse at the 11th hour. All of those supposed plans can collapse at the 11th hour if we don't give them our energy. Don't give your energy as life support to anything that you do not want. What you focus on expands. So if you're giving your attention to all of those terrible things happening in the world, that will be your day-to-day reality and will infect your state of being. And I'm, in following the collective of love and peace and compassion, this is absolutely not spiritual bypassing. It's the opposite. It's being in such compassion about people living in horrific genocide, war, disease, poverty, that what can we do that is the best possible thing for the mass of humanity to do to get us out of that? We can't all arrive to deliver aid on the ground. It's just not possible. Some of us can send money. Does the money reach the people? But what every single one of us for free can do, and that's why I set up the nightly meditations, 7 p.m. UK time, 15-minute free meditations. I'll put the link again below. You just join energetically. What we can absolutely do is focus on love and peace and gratitude and compassion. And what that does is quantum jump us into a different reality. And I mean the collective, not just, you're all right, Jack, lucky people. Every single one of us can do this to help to jump the collective to a higher timeline where those horrors are simply inconceivable. It's just impossible to hurt another living being. And the fear timeline is clearly loud. It's loud, it's colourful, it's dramatic, it's overwhelming, and it seems inescapable. And I think we're all very familiar. It's like it seems that there is no other option. And that's absolutely not true. The love timeline is really quiet, really quiet. It's ordinary people like you and me just quietly meditating. It's healers, it's grid workers, it's people who smile at strangers, people who help people with their shopping. It's people who continually send love and compassion out to the world. It's these small daily acts of kindness that really make the difference on an ongoing basis. But it's quiet. You're never going to see it on the nightly news, ever. At least not for the foreseeable future. And that is a reality which is equally valid as the loud, dramatic one. Absolutely. And many of us are living in that reality. And with everyone who can join with their frequency and start to live in love and gratitude and peace and compassion, the scales are really tipping because we are building this very quiet tsunami of love. Absolute tidal wave of love. And it's just your choice. It's just your choice whether you stick to the old narrative because it's familiar and it's somehow easier. But actually, there is such excitement in this different world. And I feel it in my bones because I've been lucky enough to kind of come across a retreat, a 5-day retreat, which was just pure bliss. Actually, it was a bit bliss bubble. But all of the people there, people came from all over the world, and we absolutely were committed. We spent all that time in love, joy, gratitude, peace, compassion. And at the end, we absolutely committed to go out in the world to be even brighter lighthouses. And it was a very real, but it felt like a higher dimension reality. And it felt like we had actually helped to build a higher dimensional timeline there and then during that retreat. A higher dimensional template to share with the collective and boost to the collective to stop these horrors in the world. And people are doing this all over the world. I mean, it wasn't just that small group. People are doing this all over the world. So recognize this. Don't think nothing's happening, because a whole ton of energetic shifts are happening. But there will be just like at the Aries equinox, and I felt it massively, there will be another very significant shift at this Cancer solstice. And events in the world may get louder. Up to you whether you give them your attention. You only give them your attention if you want to see more of that kind of experience. So know that in every moment, in a bigger way than you have ever lived in your lifetime, you are creating the foundations of new earth and the new you, the new identity. Feel that out. Who are you already becoming? What is falling away? What's calling you as a completely new you? Very likely, in a way you've never lived it before. Do less. Keep it simple. Meditate more. Be in nature. Drink more water. All these things I've talked about. Withdraw from anything that lowers your frequency. And only focus on what you want more of in your life and no more. Create, create, create with love, and only focus on what you want more of. Commit to shining your light brighter. Commit to supercharging the web of light, which so many of you can see because you write to me and tell me about it. See that web of light around the earth that's, so many of us are connecting to that, boosting it all through our days. We are boosting that web of light. And even if you're not aware of that, smiling at strangers will do that. Being kind to a neighbor will do that. It's putting more weight in the love side of the scale. So these truly are biblical times. Stand in your truth, stand in your authenticity, stand in your courage, because history is going to look back on these times at us as the bridge builders of New Earth and celebrate what we did. So yes, we may be weary. Yes, we may be covered in dust. Yes, we may think we just can't keep going, but we can. And that's what we were here for. We were born for this. And truly, the energy that is propelling us, the amount of light that is propelling us forwards is thrilling. So make that promise to yourself that you could not do more to boost that web of light, to live with love, to live from your heart. And I believe that we are already rocking it. So let's see what the Cancer solstice brings us. And please use that time at the Cancer solstice. I'll put the link for that video below that I did specifically on that. Please really commit to energetic stillness, love, peace, joy, gratitude, and compassion, whatever you are doing over that period. God bless. Hope that helped. Bye for now. Be back very soon.